Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And guess what today is? Today is Wednesday, 306 degrees ahead. And 306 degrees ahead, we have our guest co-host, Dr. Michael Mantell, back with us today. And we got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way. So how you doing today, Dr. Mike?
Thank goodness I'm doing well, and looking forward to a great conversation with our wonderful guest, which Dr. Michelle Cooley is going to introduce for us. But the topic is one that touches everybody who gets up to go to work. And that means most of the world, I guess, today. So let's move forward with it.
Well, I tell you, how you doing, Dr. Michelle Cooley? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, James. It's Wednesday. I think it's when this. I can't believe it's June. It's going by so quickly, but I am doing great. And we're having this guest coming back on the show. He's going to educate the audience and kind of just have us thinking about the topic I'll be ready to discuss.
Notice that Dr. Mike and myself, we stayed in our lane this time.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
We stayed in our lane. So I tell you, wherever you're watching us at, whether you're watching us on E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, over 55 other live platforms, welcome to the show. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get your answer. Michelle, can you do the honors by introducing the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this absolutely fantastic returning guest?
Most definitely. So the title, well, first of all, Wednesday is 360-degree Health Day, and we're discussing getting your work and life back in balance. And we're having a sit-down conversation. Dr. James Cooley, Dr. Michael Mantell, who's our guest co-host, they're having a discussion with Dr. Richard Safir. He's an author, a speaker, workplace health pioneer, and a thought leader. He's going to talk about defining what work-life balance is, defining priorities and setting boundaries, and how to balance our work and life with the help of your coworkers and manager, and how to stop thinking about work while you're trying to enjoy life. That's a doozy. So Richard Safir earned his BS in nutritional biochemistry at Cornell University under the tutelage of T. Colin Campbell, author of the China Study. Before attending medical school at the State University of New York at Buffalo, Dr. Safir is the Chief Medical Director at Employee Health and Wellbeing at Johns Hopkins Medicine, where he leads the Healthy at Hopkins Employee Health and Wellbeing Strategy. He also holds faculty appointments in the School of Medicine and Public Health at Johns Hopkins University. He holds faculty appointments in both Johns Hopkins School of Medicine as well as the School of Public Health. He continues to see patients one day a week in the pediatric cardiology department. Dr. Safir is a fellow of the American Academy of Family Practice, the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and the American College of Preventive Medicine. He served on the board of directors for the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. He's on the New England Journal of Medicine Catalyst Insight Council. He has hiked and camped in the Andes, Alaska, Australia, and across the Western United States. He lives in Columbia, Maryland, with his wife and 3 children and their dog, Cammie. Please welcome back to the show, Dr. Richard Safir.
Thank you. It's good to be here again.
Doc, it's an absolute pleasure having you back on. I mean, when you was on a few weeks ago, it was just extraordinary. I know that this is going to be extraordinary as well because, just like what Dr. Mike mentioned, we're talking about something that affects everyone in the world in some way or another, especially if you don't have any balance, work-life balance, if you don't have any structure, you don't have any of these things in your life. So I am excited to be having this discussion with you, and I can already tell Dr. Mike he's ready. But also, Columbia, Maryland, I will be speaking there next week.
Really?
And, yes, I will be there speaking at in Maryland, University of Maryland, and Michelle and I will be receiving Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Wow. Congratulations. That's great.
So I'm looking forward, and hopefully, I don't know if your schedule permits, but hopefully we get an opportunity to see you if we can.
Yeah, let's compare calendars afterward.
Now I totally feel left out. FOMO. Like you're missing out.
Well,
Oh my
Michael,
goodness.
as soon as you get your Lifetime Achievement Award,
Oh,
I'll
right,
check my
exactly
calendar.
right. Listen, they got Lifetime Achievement Awards monthly, so you can't keep up. You can't even try. I want to begin, if I can, with an
Okay.
interesting question. I think it's going to lead us into a lane of thinking about this. Dr. Safir, why do people work?
Well, at the very basics, most people need a way to sustain their livelihood, their living. I mean,
Life,
yeah,
they're
for most
living
people, it's
life.
not a choice.
Right.
Now, there are some well-being benefits, and if we're lucky enough, we find a job or a vocation or a career that not only gives us the resources that we need to feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and provide shelter, but also aligns with our purpose, which is good for our soul and helps us be happier and healthier. That would be my wish for everybody who's listening today.
And that would be the wish for the world, of course. However, many people get up and go to lousy jobs. I gotta stock shelves. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And let's face it, they hate going to work. My job is a pain in the you know what. Now, if we can start there, not that I have to go to work,
Yeah.
but I get to go to work.
Yeah.
Does that change an orientation?
Well, I noticed that you use the word lousy, and um, it is interesting that some people have, many people have an opinion of their job, and it could be on both ends of the spectrum. But I think I know where you're going with this, Michael, and that is that our mindset impacts our perspective of our job. However, it's not only our mindset, it's our manager and it's our teammates.
Right.
And really, a good leader, a good manager can help inspire us to help us understand the connection between our work and the greater good. So, Michael, I would inform that person who's got to stock the shelves in the grocery store that they're helping to feed their community. And without that, there's a lot of people who wouldn't be whose health and well-being would be negatively impacted. We saw that in the height of the pandemic when some of us went to the store and found empty shelves.
I was consulting for many years to a hot tub manufacturing company.
Of course you were. That's
Of course. Yeah, I can get into that, but I want to just tell you a quick story about this because it's on point to what you're saying in terms of the work you're doing. Many of the guys on the shop floor who was building these hot tubs, were just not doing the work that they needed to be doing. So one day I had an idea, and I went to the CEO and I told him my idea, and he slapped himself in the forehead. And he said, "You're got to be kidding me! But if you think that's going to work, go ahead." Now there are about 300 people together, many Hispanics who barely spoke English. And we brought them together. My wife speaks Spanish, and so I had her with me. And I said to these folks, what is it you do? Oh, we build a hot tub. I put this in the jet and the steps and the guard and the rail and No. What do you do? Senor, I make this and I put that in. I screw this in. No. What do you do? And the CEO is standing in the back and he's ready to shoot me. And I was a senior executive consultant for over a decade. What do you guys do? We make hot tubs. No. What you do is you make an opportunity for a husband and a wife at the end of a busy day to come home and sit in warm water and relax. For grandparents to play with their kids. For someone who's single to come home and sit and read and relax. That's what you guys do. Honest to goodness, Rich. Productivity went up significantly. I looked at smiles on the faces went up just because they had purpose.
Oh, sure. No, I believe you. And if you don't mind, I just want to thank the 40,000 employees who make up the Johns Hopkins medicine community, because every one of them makes a contribution to the care of our patients and the safety of our patients. Every one of them.
And
Makes a difference.
also, understanding that you have purpose. A lot of people just take a job as a job. I'm doing the screws, I'm doing this, because it's not adequately explained to each one of the employees that they are turning the screws or the ship or building a company. And once they understand from the top down, bottom up, that they have purpose, that their job really means something, it increases productivity, it increases self-worth, it increases, hey, I'm glad to be here. So I believe all of those things are so important. And I believe that once you understand those things, it kind of helps make life, work, balance a little easier to cope with and deal with, So I tell you, we're going to take a station break. But as you know, we're going to come back and we're going to pick this up, because we got a whole lot of great things going on today. And I got two of the greatest doctors on earth. And if you got a question, all you do is go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. And I tell you, I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are, and one that keeps us close when we're apart. Talking from the darkness of all that we've been through, it seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of harmony.
welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. And I tell you, we got these absolutely two fantastic doctors here that's doing great things, that are helping people out all across the world. And the thing that we're talking about today is getting your work and life balance. I'm talking about like the equilibrium of your work, your life, and all the things that's going to benefit and make you happy to be a part of having a work life balance. Well, you just understand your purpose. You understand that you are bringing joy not just to your family but to others, and that's what we're talking about today. And if you want to be part of this conversation, all you got to do is go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Dr. Rich, first of all, what is the definition of life balance, and how do we separate the physical into mental portion of that?
So, JC, some people would take exception to the phrase work-life balance. In fact, I believe our Surgeon General uses the phrase work-life harmony, and I've heard others use work-life integration. Now, not to consume too much of the show to go over each of these, but to say that, this idea of balance, meaning for some people you either have one or the other, doesn't necessarily recognize how sometimes life weaves through our work. And, very simple example is needing to leave work in the middle of the day to go to the doctor's office and have your appointment and come back. I would say that's integration. And hopefully we're all feeling some harmony between our work and our life. And so I would say all three apply depending on the situation. Now, for me, the way I see work-life balance, I would look at it in three buckets. Are we physically able to disconnect from our job? Are we psychologically or mentally able to disengage from our job? And the third would be, can we take a vacation, a true vacation, which some people might find odd that I would have that as part of a work-life balance conversation. But if you want, we'll pursue that at some point.
Oh, I think that's very worthy of pursuing, because I think it really gives meaning to your whole approach to work-life balance. So perhaps you can highlight that for us. What is taking it? Why is it such an important issue?
Sure. I mean, we'll start with vacation.
Yeah.
So shockingly, there's a very large percentage of Americans who don't use all of their vacation days. Now, I know that we're broadcasting around the world, and I'm sorry I don't know the statistics for other countries, but I will tell you, in the United States, not only do we have fewer vacation days than most, if not all, of the European countries, but we also tend to not use all of those hours. And when our workforce does take vacation, like 50% or so either checks email or works on a vacation day. This is not separation. This is not being, yeah, that's right, your cell phone. It's like bring your office to vacation day. And so does now not allow us to refresh and recharge and regain our energy and our focus. So we cannot take vacations for granted because, frankly, not enough of us are doing vacations correctly.
Now a correct vacation, I assume, is, to use a current word, a mindful break from all the other things that we ordinarily are doing. And can a vacation be a walk in a neighborhood where you clear your mind and you enjoy the beauty of the palm trees or whatever trees are around you?
Without a doubt. And I hope your employer won't charge you a day off to do that. I hope you can do that every day.
Right. And you can do that after work. You can do that at a quote lunch break, perhaps, if you have one. Yeah. So the idea that I'm showing you that this is a way to think about this. Do I take that mental, physical, emotional break? And I think what Dr. Safir is suggesting is that is a key element in our daily life. Dr. Michelle, you have a question. Otherwise, you wouldn't be beaming in.
Well, like you said before, Dr. Mantell, there's some people who just enjoy what they do. It's just not considered work. Now, a segue into this, we're going to put Dr. James Cooley on the spot. And everybody is different. When I'm on vacation, I do not bring my laptop. I am totally disconnected from work because this is the opportunity to enjoy myself. However, there are some people, Dr. James Cooley, who, when we go on vacation, they're still in work mode. And so if they enjoy what they do and they enjoy taking it on vacation, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
So I have to say, as I was answering previously, I was feeling judgmental as I was saying this idea that, hey, we can't separate. And it is true. Some people are fortunate to love their work so much that they don't see it as work. And what I would add to the conversation is that when we have unstructured time and we're able to be present, not only in the environment in which we are currently residing, but also be present with the people that you're vacationing with, that frees us from our obligation or our hobby, if it's not an obligation, aka work, to experience other aspects of life. I mean, there's several different elements to this vacation. It's not just about being able to separate from your paid employment.
Mhm.
It's about being able to imagine or live the other possibilities of our life outside of our work.
Doc, I see you got my back. Because what Michelle is saying is TV, radio, and all that, right? And we go on vacation, we do whatever we have to do, and all of a sudden, I run across some folks or something, and I want to do a show right then and there. So like, oh no, we're not going to do it. But Doc, I have to do that show because that is right there, and we're gonna educate and teach people, and plus we overseas doing this, and people get an opportunity to see on the spot. Michelle seemed to think that you just love your job too much. You just
Well,
love.
I don't want to get in the middle of the Coolies.
the,
I have to say,
marriage counseling is necessary here right now.
well, but I think this is great that you're bringing this up now because actually in my book, A Cure for the Common Company, I actually mention how our marriages impact our workday and our workday impacts our marriages. And that's not something that most employers talk about or even consider when they're trying to figure out how to support the health and well-being of their workforce.
So that raises the question, though. And I know we have a question from someone. How important is it in life to be present? But hold on to that question because Dr. Safir, you just turned the corner. We can talk about joy and purpose and all these beautiful, wonderful, la things. Let's come down to earth. My manager is a pain in my rear end. My boss, I hate. He doesn't treat me right. This one discriminates against me. This one, they don't take my input. I want to ask you this question. How can organizations support employees in achieving work-life balance? And in your work, what policies have been most effective, do you think, in your experience? So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What can a company do to help its employees with work-life balance?
Yeah, the essence of this is that it's not just the individual's responsibility. It's also the employer's not just responsibility, but opportunity. Because we know that when people have better work-life balance, that they're more likely to be engaged with their work. They're going to do a better job. There's going to be less turnover, and the company is going to benefit. Now, primarily, what the employer can do is to help leaders at all levels, from the frontline manager up to the C-suite, recognize not only the importance of work-life balance, but what their role is, not only in their own work-life balance, but in supporting the work-life balance of the people who report to them. And so, Michael, we won't have time to go through each important element that a manager can provide to reach better work life balance, but I'll just start with priorities. Helping the people who work with you know their priorities frees them from the idea that they have to do everything, and they have to do everything now, and they have to do everything with an A+ job. So just having priorities is a benefit to improving the work-life balance of the people who are on your team.
And when what do you do with a manager, supervisor, C-suite person who doesn't necessarily buy into that?
Well, this is obviously a challenge for the individual, but it's also a challenge for the organization. Now, a successful organization will have set up an employee engagement survey that is released at a set schedule, hopefully more than once a year. And in addition to that, have a vehicle for anonymous feedback. And by doing either or ideally both of these, an employer can find and aggregate the data for particular teams. And when a team leader shows that their team is scoring very low on work-life balance, that's an opportunity for leadership development to step in and work with that manager to help bring them up to where their peers are.
Wow.
I'm sorry, JC.
No, go ahead on, Doc.
Can you share in your experience working with Johns Hopkins and other major organizations, any particular policies that have been particularly effective?
Well, a policy on time off is very helpful, and yet it's only as good as it's followed. And so, I'm not policies only do so much. We can't mandate work-life balance, especially since we know it's more than just taking the day off from work. And so while policies might be the start, Michael, if I had to choose one or the other, I would choose leadership training over policies. We really want everyone to be on board to use the social forces to support each other to get this better place.
How important is it to equip managers and others to identify the signs and symptoms of a work-life imbalance in their employees?
Yeah,
Talk about that.
It's vitally important and challenging. Most leaders have never been trained on how to identify employees who are struggling, or if they're able to identify that person, what to do next. We really need to make it more of a common conversation. And we can start by giving leaders bits and pieces. One of our training programs is called 10-Minute Wellbeing Tips for Managers. So they're digestible 10 minutes. Michael, without this ingredient, it's going to be difficult for people to find a better path. And frankly, most employees are not going to tell their manager what's wrong when they're asked, "How you doing today?" They're
Right.
likely not to tell human resources. They're more likely to tell someone at home or a trusted peer. So we have to go out of our way to make increase opportunities for employees to express themselves.
I think when we come back from our break, I'd like to go through some of those signs and symptoms of work-life imbalance.
Sure.
How do we know we are out of balance?
That's a great idea.
I'm looking forward to that too. And we got Dr. Stacy Buller got a couple of questions that she's asked, and I want to touch bases on that immediately when we get back. Also, I want to talk about your book. I want to talk about your book when we get back as well. So I tell you, wherever you're watching us at, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. We will be back with Dr. Safir, Dr. Mantell, and I want everybody to always think about things and always dream big, think big, and be big in everything you do. We'll see you shortly after this magnificent break. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life and Dr. Richard, Dr. Mike. You know, I can just sit back and just listen to these guys because everything that they talk about is so important to each of our lives if we pay attention, and especially if we understand, and especially the employer and employee that everybody had to work together. We always have to have in mind our employees to make sure that they understand the job that they're doing. Secondly, make sure they understand that it has purpose. Also, make sure that we take the time to help work with them, not just from a top-down perspective, but from a bottom-up, so that we're able to get the things in line for work-life balance. And I know Dr. Richard said that's probably not the right term per se, but that's the goal. I believe that everybody just wants to feel important and want to be able to balance the things that they're doing, and also make sure that they are a very productive employee and very productive at home or whatever it is they're doing. So I know we got Dr. Stacy Bullock asking a whole lot of questions. I'm just gonna pop it up real quickly, Dr. Rich, and she got about 5-6 questions here, but let's get started. How important is it in life to be present?
So I think it's one of the most important things for us, for our well-being, if we are thinking in the future and not in the present. If we're thinking to tomorrow, to later today, it could increase our risk for some stress, some anxiety. And if we're thinking in the past, if we're thinking happy things in the past, great, but we might be missing out on what's right in front of us. And if we're thinking about things in the past that are sad or traumatic, that can unfortunately consume our minds and put us into a not very good mental state. I'd be interested to see if Michael has something to add to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that being present has become the current way that we talk about being connected in life. When I'm talking to you folks, yeah, I have 10 other things going on, but those are back there, and I'm here with you 100%, maybe 98%. But I'm here with you. That enables me to do a better job of whatever it is I'm doing, whether it's a social connection or doing surgery or fixing the brakes on a car or whatever it might be that people do. It enables us to do a better job. And I think it helps us emotionally as well. And I don't want to lose the question that we had before the break. How do we identify work-life imbalance? How do people know when they're not present? Perhaps we can answer that question.
Sure. I'll just give you just a few ideas. I believe it was in the context, if you're a manager, how do you know someone on your team is out of balance? And some of it is about knowing the person on your team. And if you don't know who they are, then you've already set yourself up for a less than optimal job as a leader. So once you know the person on your team, you can know if something's off. Are they behaving differently? Is the expression on their face different? Is the energy different? Is the quality of their work different? If something isn't the same as it's been, then that's an opportunity to ask them some supportive questions, not grilling questions, but leading questions that might allow them to open up to see what's happening in their life. And it very well could be that something's out of balance.
And I think we get a couple of different responses to that. One is, wow, he or she really cares. That's amazing. I didn't realize you realized that. Thank you. The other is, you're butting into my personal life. It's none of your business. This is work. And that's my, so, but I think that
yeah, but I think that most people would be happy to know that their manager cares about their well-being.
Right.
In fact, some variation of that question is commonly used on employee engagement surveys. And if there's an employee who feels like their manager is being too intrusive, and they're able to express that, that gives the manager an opportunity to back up, explain themselves, and either try again then or at another time. If we can't try to be human with each other, then we are missing a huge opportunity to support each other.
And that's whether that is so true, Dr. Safir, whether it's in our work life or our personal life, that connection is so important. You wrote a magnificent book, A Cure for the Common Company. I love that. A common company. And then you say prescriptions for a happier, healthier, and more resilient, happier, healthier, more resilient workforce. Wow. Tell us about this book and the research you did to get into that.
Well, Michael, I've been in this space for about 25 years, and that's after I was a practicing family doctor. And I came to the point where I felt like, hey, a lot of employers are missing out on some great opportunities to do better to support the health and well-being of their workforce. So I needed to put what I knew down on paper. And it's not only good for the employers, it's good for the reader, the individual, because as you mentioned at the outset, most people have jobs. And most of us know that our jobs impact our health and well-being, either for better or for worse. And so this is basically a framework. How can you have a healthier, happier, and more resilient workday?
So you use the expression, the prescription, because you're a physician, of course.
Yeah, there's a play there.
Right, of course. What is, I know you work with American College of Lifestyle Medicine.
Yes.
We talk about the key elements, stress reduction, sleep, and drugs, and so forth and so on, eating well, plan. And they just aligned with the blue zones, which is a very important alignment, of course. And hopefully we'll get some of those folks on our show to talk about that. Is there a prescription like the ACLM, American College of Lifestyle Medicine, or Blue Zone points? Is there a prescription that you can offer us for a healthier, happier, more resilient workplace?
Well, absolutely, Michael. I mean, it's in the book. Not to sound like a salesperson, but
Please sell it.
There's 6 ingredients. It's the plan for success. So the P is for peer support, L is for leadership engagement, PL. N in plan is for norms. These are the expected behaviors of a group, like a team at work. Plan for success. The first S is for shared values. These are the values that both the employer has and the employees. The 2 C's in success are for culture connection points, which are a whole collection of different nudges that make it easier to make healthy and more well choices throughout the day. And the last S in success is for social climate. It's how we feel with the people we work. Are people positive? Do we share a similar goal? Do we feel like we belong? And Michael, whether it's nutrition or movement or work-life balance, our topic of focus today, if you use that plan for success, you can reach a better work-life balance. And that's the whole goal, is that every employee, every listener of JC Cooley's program and Health 360 has their own health and well-being goal. And we can use that prescription to get to a better place.
That is magnificent. That is the most brilliant thing. And if a organization thinks it's helping people without having read your book and applying this point plan, they're missing the boat, because this is going to elevate life. That's what this elevates. Thank you for that. Wow.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Hey, Dr. Rich, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners again the title of your book, where they can get your book? Now we're gonna hit it up again before the show is over. But the information that you're putting out is so valuable. It's so valuable that we have to tell them 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. So that they can go and get the book, and I think you got an audio book as well.
It's on audio, so I have a copy, and as Michael, that's very kind of both of you.
Can you raise it up?
Yeah,
there you go. I was looking for it. I was looking for it in my bookshelf. I couldn't find it.
So I love the title, and I love the smiling faces, and I want to tell you about the smiling faces. So, one of the themes through the book is about how our emotions are impacted by the people we're around, in particular the workplace. And so if we're around happy people, we're more likely to be happy. If we're around stressed people, we're more likely to be stressed. When we separate from work at the end of the day, ideally, I think most of us want to be happy, so that when we go home, we can be happy around the people we love, whether it's a spouse, a friend, or a child. And so I really love the 3 smiley faces on the cover, because they're infectious.
We got to take a break in like 30 seconds, but for people that, and I hate to say it, that do not like to read, you got an audio book. Tell them.
In a video series also.
A video series. I tell you what, we're going to hold that until after the break. But I believe that this is so important that we have to give them the opportunity to know where to go and get your book. Whether they read the book or buy the audio book, where they can put it in their car, they can do whatever they have to do. This is important because work-life balance is important, and it brings happiness, and it also solves problems in a household or wherever you're at. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, Doc.
Yes.
We're going to take a station break, and this is a topic I wish we had like 5 or 6 more hours to do that. And Dr. Mike and I are going to twist Dr. Rich arm and get him back on the show again to continue the series. But we're going to take a station break. We're going to come back and we're going to pick it up and we're going to talk more. If you want to be part of this conversation, whichever platform that you're watching this on, all you have to do is just go to it, ask any question that you might have. We'll get you on It's Your Life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Hey, I'm so drawn to you. I'm so drawn to you. Yeah, yeah.
Hello, welcome back to James Cooley Show. I'm a little tickled on this one because I was thoroughly enjoying the episode, and I was trying to figure out Dr. Mike is, I know I got to take the break. I'm going to get beat up if I don't. But I did not want it to end. And especially when we were talking about how the things that are in his book outlines a lot of things, and a lot of people don't like to read. But I figured that out 2 years ago when I wrote Country Boy, City Boy Journey. And so I had to go back in the studio and do the audiobook. But guess what? The audiobook, people buy that one. I mean, I'm talking about because they figure when they driving down the road, when they're hiking, when they're doing all these other type of things, especially when you talking about a topic that is so important to all of us, regardless of which country you might be a part of, regardless of whatever that might mean. As long as you understand that, as long as it's been adequately explained that you have purpose, whatever you're doing, whether you are just turning the screws and you're building a product, you don't even know what the product, the end result is, but you're part of it. That's why it's important that we all, from top down, from CEO, president, all the way down to janitor, understand that they have purpose in making sure that the final product, that they got a blueprint, they got a fingerprint, they got something on it. It's important because once you understand that your purpose in doing this, and you're able to say, oh, it's not just clocking in 8 hours a day. I am building this airplane. I'm building this whatever. I look forward to going to work. I look forward to doing these things. I look forward to vacation. I look forward to all of those type of things. Yeah. So my point is this, Dr. Rich. I want you to tell them how they can get your book. And I want to just go back and just touch bases on the importance of purpose. Dr. Mike brought that up earlier, segment 2. I didn't forget the importance of purpose. Once you understand your purpose, whatever that might be in the company, you eased up, you're happy, and you want to give it 150%. So can we pick it up there?
Sure. So we have some basic needs, right? We need food, security, clothing, warmth. We need love. And if we're lucky, we can keep building on our well-being needs and finding purpose, whether it's through your job or through a hobby or a volunteer, whatever it is, if you can find purpose in your life, you are much more likely to reach a higher level of well-being because you've then aligned your own values with the how you're using your time. And most people, if not everybody, wants to know that they're making a contribution to a greater good. That is finding purpose in what you're doing.
I find that in working with people whose work life it is out of balance. I'm sorry, who are finding that they're in this work life imbalance. That when they stop and look at the way they think about their job or their life, yeah, I have a lot of purpose. I understand what I'm doing at my work. We understand I got 17 things at home that are troubling me. I got financial issues. My relationships at home are bad. That my kids are not doing well. Let's talk to the real people in this world. And there's 3 thoughts that I find, Rich, that are particularly toxic. 1, demanding, insisting. It must be a certain way. My work should be different, as opposed to, I wish it were different. This is the way it is, but I accept it. 2 is, my life is horrible, terrible, and awful. And 3 is, I cannot stand this. So when you have somebody who's, no matter how wonderful the job work managers are, who are thinking that it must be different, it's horrible and I can't stand it. Those 3 thoughts, they're killers.
Yeah, they certainly are. Michael, I like to say flexibility is a well-being strategy, and that aligns with your first point. And I absolutely agree with the others. You know, mindset is a huge part of our health and well-being and our job satisfaction. And you're blessed if it comes naturally, but if it doesn't come naturally, do not give up hope. Just like any other habit that you're trying to change, you can put practices in place where being positive about your job and about your health and about your workday can come more naturally, but you do need to put a process in place.
And I think that folks in your work life, in your arena, in the work you do, help people do that very thing. Not just, oh, gee, everything is wonderful, but truly, maybe I see some good in this and I can be some grateful. That's the mindset that you're talking about, I believe. Your topic is unbelievable. And if you could just quickly give us that prescription, those steps again, that would be wonderful. Great way to end the show.
Sure. The plan for success. P for peer support. Our coworkers can support us or they could cause us harm. L for leadership. Every manager plays a role in our well-being. N is for norms. These are the expected practices of a group. And some groups or teams have healthy norms and some have unhealthy norms. Usually it's a mix. After plan, skip the word for and go to the word success. The first S is for shared values. How do our values align with the company values? The 2 C's in success for culture connection points. These are the nudges that help make it easier to make healthy choices and have healthier emotions through the day. And the last S is for social climate. That's kind of like our morale. How do we feel about the people we work with? And there's ways that you can take advantage of every one of those pieces or those building blocks in the plan for success. If you want to learn more, I hope you'll pick up a copy of A Cure for the Common Company. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you buy books. And as JC mentioned, there is an audio book. It's also on Kindle, and there is a training series at creatingawellbeingculture.com. Michael mentioned that video series.
Wow. This is so incredible. Hey, Doc, I hope that I'm not bothering you, but I think we certainly have to do part 2 of this if your schedule permits.
I really appreciate the invitation, and this aligns with my purpose. There are too many people who have not yet learned all of the possible strategies to go through their workday healthier and happier. So I would love to come back and join you both.
Hey, Dr. Mike, can you set that up, please, sir?
Absolutely. We're going to make that happen. That's wonderful. Let's set that up and do it as soon as we can, and make sure that people who are struggling tune in and say, I want to learn some tips for having a better work-life balance. Thanks so much, Dr. Safir. You are fabulous. Thank you.
You're fantastic. I'd like to thank, of course, I'd like to thank Dr. Mike for reaching out. And we're Dr. Safir, first of all, for being here. Dr. Mike always hooking us up with absolutely top-notch doctors. So I want to thank both of you guys. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley. Wow, I don't know where I would be without her. She is the one to write all the shows, do everything to make this a success. I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and also syndicated on Sundays. KCBQ AM 1170 Answer, FM 96.1, and every major podcast. And so our job is always to teach you how to dream big, think big, and be big at everything. I'm going to say it again. Everything that you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Is Your Life. We'll see you then.